Hey there everybody, hope your day's going well. Jacade with Old School Gaming here, and welcome. Welcome to the bonus episode for Morrowind. Wow, it took me nearly 2 years just to 100% clear the game. And yeah, there was a couple of months where I just took the entire month off to try and catch up on first-gen Pokemon along with some other stuff. And honestly, I've got a lot of catching up to do right now, but regardless, I need to get this done, get it over with, and then go from there. And hell, playing the game, there were plenty of times I used console commands. I mean, hell, I had to advance the journal a number of times, I had to get unstuck from graphics a few times, and mostly it was just getting the AI out of the goddamn door. Stop standing in the middle of the way. I can't move through you. Yeah, and hell, during the whole journey, after the first time I, received a proper jump scare, I decided that, I'm gonna say that, and if it happens more, I can put together a compilation. And, yeah, it happened quite a few times. So, and it was a proper jump, not just, something coming out of nowhere, and I'm just, whoa, where the hell did you come from? It was just proper, jumping. And for every jump scare, there is a 5-second, what's the word I'm looking for? A 5-second on-screen text exposition, that's the word. Yeah, just on-screen exposition explaining the scenario of where I was and what was going on just before the jump scare kind of thing. So you can always pause if you need a few extra seconds to read, or just, watch it through and enjoy the times that I jumped out of my own skin just about. Tolmera Relenum, Greater Soul Gems, 10 empty. Wow. Ah! 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 Must be some kind of a maze or something, but... Ah! 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 Almer Balarami. Ah! 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 At least it'll be worth some money. Ah! 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 Oh, let me just rest around, I guess. Because why not? Ah! 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 I guess what would happen if I were, say, a werewolf? What the hell? Okay, that last one was a little leak. I mean, I barely jumped. I was more just... instead of, a full-on... kind of thing. But, hell, I decided to include it anyway. Now, with with Morrowind at the end, I wanted to give my thoughts on the different main quests and the different faction quests and some side quests as well. Otherwise, this would be, an extremely short video. So, with the Morrowind main quest, well, it's quite interesting because you start out as a nobody. Just a pocket full of change and nothing more than the clothes on your back as well as whatever you manage to to steal from the Census and Excise Office. But as you get sent out on more and more quests, things should become a little clearer. You're learning about the cult of the Nerevarine, the cult of the Sixth House, and finding out a little bit more about what's actually going on Vardenfell. And the task that you're set is to fulfill the role of the Nerevarine. Whether you actually are or are not, well, it's kind of up for debate for most, like, any of the NPCs, but for you, you do actually get dreams from Azura. Not just from Dagoth-Ur. And hell, the whole point is to stop Dagoth-Ur from destroying the entire world. And as everything advances further and further in, you never really feel like you're not the main character. As you're driving the plot, yeah, you're sent to get magical items, and then bring them back to whoever sent you out to go get them. But then they say, wow, you actually did it. Well, you know what? Keep it. I mean, hell, at the end of it all, you do get to save the world, drive away the Blight, ending Corpus, and hell, Azura shows up in person to thank you. So that's actually quite nice. And that is a really, really quick summary of the main quest, but yeah. Let's move on to some of the factions. And let's go with the houses first. Hell, let's start with the Talvani, which is actually really decent, especially in terms of quest rewards. I mean, right off the bat, you can get 10 quests from the 5 different mouths in the Sadris Mora Council Hall, and they're not even that difficult. They even just essentially handhold you and tell you, here's what you do, here's where you go. Go. Get out of here. And as I said, the rewards are really nice. I mean, hell, they immediately want to teach you Mark and Recall. They immediately want to give you a whole bunch of really, really nice magical artifacts. And hell, as the quests get even more and more advanced, the rewards definitely increase along with the difficulty of the quests. And really, there's not too much interaction or overlap with other factions or quests. Well, except for the other houses, but I mean, that's a given with all 3 houses, actually. The only thing I'd wish for is maybe a more desirable location for the for the stronghold, because it's just in the middle of the no, is it? I forget exactly where, like, what the region is, but wow, it's not pretty. It's not a pretty place. Not even close. And then there's House Redoran. And there's honestly not that much in the way of quest rewards. Because I guess the theme for House Redoran is, hey, you are doing this for the honor. You're not doing this to get rich off of money. You get rich off of honor and building up your reputation, I guess. The quests themselves are not all that difficult. It's somewhat centered around, like, Aldrune and Margon. It kind of focuses on the west side of things. Some quests do take you a little further out, and hell, the only overlap is, again, with the other houses, but not really much to do with. I mean, hell, they do have a very close relationship to the temple, but there's not really much overlap with temple quests. Or hell, not even too much interaction with the temple. And the stronghold, again, it's kind of like halfway between Alderune and Margon. But it's not exactly prime real estate, in my opinion. Then, of the 3 houses, on Vardenfell at least, there's House Halalu. Quest rewards are definitely for the greedy. I mean, hell, you don't even get, like... In order to get the next quest, you don't select duties or orders. It's business. And a lot of money. Honestly, not too much else. And there is interaction with the with quest lines outside of House of Lalu, such as the temple and kind of the main quest. I mean, yeah, because House of Lalu does, one of the quests does send you into a sixth house dreamer base, which, once you clear that out, cut off the dreams in Vivek and no, maybe I think maybe around like Saran and the plantations, or maybe not. I forget exactly what that dreamer base decides which dreamers are now awake and not being controlled. But yeah. There is that. And hell, there is, a very, very close link to the Kumano tongue, which, if you think about it, kind of also links to the Thieves Guild and the Fighters Guild, as well as the Morak tongue in a way. And then where the stronghold gets built, at least in my opinion, is the perfect place. I mean, hell, right next to Balmora, and Balmora is a major hub. Yeah, there's no boats, but there's still the Silt Strider, the Mages Guild. So you can pretty much get anywhere if you start in Balmora and need to get somewhere else. Now, as for the next faction, hell, let's get into the Mages Guild. Well, the quest rewards definitely start out, well, if I'm being honest, kind of mediocre. But they do get a little better as you get more advanced. I mean, hell, if you start in Balmora, it's essentially baby's first quest. You're sent out to gather some flowers, gather some mushrooms, help Ajira with, her advancement to journeyman and all that. Hell, even what was her name? Ranis Athris is just upstairs from Ajira. The quests are fairly simple, just a long ways to travel to get to them. And the quests themselves internally overlap, and there's not really too much outside interaction. It's more just, oh, Trebonius wants you to solve the mystery of the disappearance of the dwarves. And then other quests, hey, you start finding some books. One is essentially the Rosetta Stone for between Aldmeris and Dwarven writing. Then there's a couple more books that essentially point out how the dwarves were trying to link up to the heart of Lorcan, and then their connection got severed, which may or may not have caused them to disappear, or maybe they were trying to link to a divine source, and because of what they were doing, they, like, a spiteful god fired back. Yeah, who knows what in the hell happened? No one really has a definitive answer. Hell, even Yagram is just, I don't know exactly what happened. I was in one of the outer realms when everything went down. When I came back, everyone was gone. So essentially, it's like, because he didn't have a connection to Nirn, he was able to survive. And because he got Corpus, now he's immortal. Well, okay, I do suppose there is some kind of interaction outside of the Mages Guild, because Skink and Tree Shade wants to study the soul of an Ash School, because he even realizes, well, the sixth house is waking up. If things get out of hand, we're going to need to know how to fight them, and what better way than studying the soul of one of the more powerful entities. If I didn't challenge Trebonius to a duel before the main quest ended, he would ask me to go kill all the Telvanni counselors. Every single one. Which, I mean, hell, technically after the main quest, Gothrin is definitely dead. Possibly some other ones that just didn't want to name me Hortatar, so screw them. Yeah, but, yeah, that's a potential thing. But anyway, so moving on, let's just lump the Thieves Guild and the Fighters Guild together. After all, the quests are well, more than just overlap and interaction, the two factions are in an all-out war since the Kumantan owns Hardheart, who's the current head of the Fighters Guild, and the Kumantan who just doesn't want the Thieves Guild in Morrowind, because the Thieves Guild is an officially sanctioned guild by the Empire. And the Kumantan hates that the Empire is here, and they see that, oh hey, since the Thieves Guild is so weak, we can target them and take them down. And hell, the quest rewards are, somewhat suitable for the respective factions. And hell, depending on how the quests are played out, some very, different things can happen. The Fighters Guild is more focused on fighting and sabotage, along with the occasional alcohol delivery. And the Thieves Guild seems to be more focused on defense and just saying, hey, listen, we don't want to fight, but we do need to defend ourselves. And hell, when the cards are played right, becoming Grand Master of both factions can happen right around the same time. Okay, then there's the Imperial Legion. Wow, becoming a dog of the Empire is really not that difficult. And hell, the questline itself is, well, very, very quick, especially compared to many of the other factions. The quest rewards kinda start out as like just a simple pat on the back, but then eventually end with the Lord's Mail and the Paladin's Blade Chrysamere. The quests themselves are fairly isolated. There's not really any overlap with any of the other factions. Well, certain quests do come close, but not quite super close. And hell, it's, a fairly quick quest line, so let's just move on to the Imperial Cult. Well, it starts out as the rewards are not quite so great, but they end with some incredibly amazing rewards. Hell, it can this faction can actually be considered as essentially like a baby's first quest. They start out extremely simple, just some like ingredient to item fetch quests, and then some gold collection quests, and then as the quests themselves get more and more advanced and further away from Ebonheart, where pretty much all the quests start, it does start to become worth the trip. And well, technically there is some overlap, specifically with Wolf at the Tower of Dusk at the very end of the main quest. It's technically not even part of a cult quest line, but I mean, it does definitely have some cult influence. And hell, on the topic of religion, moving on to the Tribunal Temple. Before I read the papers in the secret library under the Hall of Justice about what may or may not have happened at Red Mountain, like the two different contradicting accounts, I thought the temple's actually a pretty nice religion. Yeah, maybe it's not for someone fresh off the boat. I mean, hell, the first quest, you have to make 7 pilgrimages around, like, the western half of Vardenfell. I mean, there's, one in the city of Nissus, one just outside, one in Ghost Gate. Well, just inside the fence. Yeah, there's one just north of Pelgiad, then there's, the other 3 would be in Vivec City. It definitely takes a while to actually get all that. And, honestly, the rewards are, well, okay, I guess. I mean, hell, most of the items that you are sent out to get, you bring them back and you get nothing more than a thank you. Although, if you do reach the highest rank in the temple, you can go back to those people, talk about those certain artifacts that you retrieved, and get them back. Most of the rewards are just half-day or day-long blessings, where it's just, okay, thanks, I think. But at least until the final pilgrimage, all the way to Mount Arsenibibi, where you get the ebony mail. And as soon as I got that, I pretty much never took it off until I turned it into the Museum of Artifacts. I'll get to that later, but yeah, that was actually a pretty sweet reward. I was thinking, holy hell, do I have to turn this in? I really don't want to. It's so great. And return back to Sarioni, and he's just, oh hey, you got it. You can keep it. Sweet. Now the final faction on Vardenfell was the Morag Tong. And it's fairly straightforward. Assassins for hire. You get a writ, go execute someone, come back and collect a bunch of money. And that's really all there is for the writs. I mean, there's the Threads of the Web Spinner, which is, wow, holy hell. Well, 27 artifacts in total. Enohalalu technically has one already, so you have to collect 26, bring them all to him, and then Mafala's skill is, well, actually it's really, really nice. and hell, as Enohalalu, once you start ranking up in the Morag Tongue, Enohalalu eventually starts giving these special duties, which, I wouldn't say they're the best rewards. Hell, the best rewards from those missions are actually in the loot gathered, rather than, like, coming back and then saying, hey, I completed the quest, and here's the reward. Now, the biggest reward is in whatever the loot was. Oh, then there's the, 7 different Daedric quests, and wow, that is... they are fun. If only they weren't so far out of the beaten path, just so far away, that it would be like, you're on one corner of Vardenfell, they send you to the exact opposite corner. You'll be on the southeast corner for Azura's shrine, and she sends you all the way to the northern reaches of the Sheolgorad region. It's just, damn, can't you be a little closer here? But I suppose that is part of the task of the Daedric gods. They want to test you to make sure you are worthwhile. So, fair enough. And hell, the rewards are actually really good. Well, I didn't really use too much of their rewards, except for Azura's Star. But hell, if I was inclined to use spears, if I was inclined to use maces, then maybe. Hell, Maroon's Razor was actually pretty powerful. Then there's becoming a vampire. Wow. Becoming a vampire, in Morrowind at least, definitely changes the entire game. Hell, pretty much no one wants to interact with you except the Mages Guild and the Talbani. And hell, there's even different factions of vampires depending on exactly which strain of Parpheric hemophilia, or however the hell you're supposed to pronounce it, depending on what you get. Burn? Well, yeah, I mean, damn, it takes so long just to figure out, or just to get there, because it's way the hell out of the way. And the rewards you get from Burn are not actually that rewarding. It's kind of seen like, are you going to taint this bloodline, or are you going to be useful? And kind of the same with Korra. Korra's rewards are slightly better, but not by much. Oh, hell, there was plenty of glitches. I had to constantly use the console. Advance the journal, advance the journal, advance the journal. There. Damn. But then the On-Day faction. Wow, that was a fun faction to go through. Hell, the rewards, especially from that vampire hunter, it's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, you definitely don't want to use that stuff while a vampire, because it's, truly anti-vampire, weapon and armor. And as for the, outside the different bloodline quests, the quests are, and the rewards are just kind of meh. Except for that one dude that's locked by Azura in an ancestral tomb inside the ghost fence. Yeah, should have seen something coming when he's just, oh, Azura locked me up in here. But Azura's one of the good Daedra. Why would she lock you up in here? Now, even though I did it more near the end of my Let's Play series, let's just jump into the Tribunal expansion next. Because remember, kids, that's what we called it back in the day. Expansion, not DLC. After all, back then, you had to actually get out of the house, go down to the store, and purchase a physical copy of the game. And hell, when the expansions came out, you had to go back to the store, get the extra disc, install the extra disc, and then put back in the main disc in order to play the game. Yeah, but anyway, the main quest itself was one hell of a ride, and, well, actually, certain parallels to the main quest back on Vardenfell. I mean, after all, you start out, I mean, hell, you're a nobody in this place. You know, whatever your rank might be in the Imperial Cult and possibly House Lalu, who cares about that? But, I mean, hell, you're there to investigate why the hell the Dark Brotherhood wants you dead. And as you start to unravel what's going on, it's kind of like you're peeling a potato, seeing what's actually underneath the skin. You find it's actually as you are, getting some answers and making some friends, well, a massive Daedric dwarven ruin opens up underneath Mournhold. And, yeah, kind of distracting, but, I mean, hell, it was actually really, really neat seeing a completely sealed Daedric ruin that no one had ever been in before, and all the different ash piles of where the dwarves were standing when, essentially, they were zapped from existence. And then how, talking to Amalexia, getting, Hope's Fire relit, and then eventually getting into Clockwork City. Well, the Clockwork City, I really liked the linear progression. There was a lot of attention to detail in creating every single section of the Clockwork City. I mean, hell, the attention to detail that the developers put in to, well, not just the Clockwork City, but also all of Mournhold, the Daedric Dwarven Ruins, and the sewers, Old Mournhold, all that. Wow, it is something. Eventually getting to the end of the Clockwork City to confront Sotha Sil, and he's dead. Apparently, Amalexia is, the one who went mad. But honestly, what was her game plan in the long run? Like, if she manages to actually kill me, then what? Would she go and kill Vivek and drop the Ministry of Truth on Vivek City, just completely obliterating it? Yeah, what was wrong with Amalexia there? Did her own mortality cause her to snap? Did she just not want to share the spotlight with Sotha Sil and Vivek anymore? Like, what the hell? Well, then again, I guess since she's dead, there's nothing more to worry about. So, the miscellaneous quests there were, well, kind of similar to most of the miscellaneous quests back on Vardenfell. Kind of one and done. There's just, oh, hey, do this one thing, okay, now you're done. Sometimes, every now and again, just like back on Vardenfell, there's kind of a line where it's just like, maybe there's like a second or potentially a third connection, but that's about the extent of it. And hell, the Museum of Artifacts is really cool, and hell, that's part of why I sold all my artifacts there, is just, well, with all the Ordinators around, those artifacts are pretty much guaranteed to be safe. And finally, there's the Blood Moon expansion that opened up Salsline. In the start of the main quest is almost a direct parallel of of how things start out back in Vardenfell. You get off the boat, you are a nobody up here. No one, everyone is way too cold to even give a damn, like, if you're in the Legion or what your rank might be. And hell, only, 2 quests in, all of a sudden you hear about a bunch of werewolves that have kidnapped, what's his name? But honestly, the whole quest feels more like you're running errands, trying to find what in the hell's going on, rather than being the main character. I mean, hell, as you go along, the werewolves are apparently kidnapping different warriors, and you're just, what in the hell's going on? But then, as you sleep, suddenly, more werewolves! And here's Scene is apparently setting up a game, because, well, like, I guess that kind of fits the theme of the Digit Gods. That's what they do. They take mortals and play games with them for entertainment, because, well, they have nothing else to do. Yeah, and trying to navigate around the damn maze that was the inner ring and the outer ring. Holy hell, that was a pain in the ass. I really wish I had brought, like, a bunch of soul gems with me so I could recharge my weapons, and repair hammers so I could repair my weapons, because, god damn, those werewolves were definitely tough. Being a werewolf, I was not that tough, not even in the slightest. I don't know, maybe I did something wrong and it's just, yeah, but it's just that you're not that powerful, not at all. And then eventually fighting against Hircine himself, the two animal forms were extremely tough. I had to drink plenty of potions, cast plenty of spells, and use a few scrolls just to actually defeat them. But when it was like because it was like the strength aspect, the speed aspect, and the guile aspect. The guile aspect, I don't know what the hell happened. Did doing that turn him into like an NPC where he's just programmed with a fight or flight response, and then starts running away because I'm so damn powerful? I don't know. I suppose, whatever, who cares? I won. The miscellaneous quests, however, were, well, once again, just mostly one and done for the most part. I mean, the one at Thirst, you had to wait till a certain point in the main quest to actually get that. And then there was, Oddfred Whitelip, who had some, like, future predictions, which I wasn't able to get the second prediction from the skull, but the first one kind of just said, hey, here's what's gonna happen in the main quest, but without spoilers, or without direct spoilers. It's not really until after you complete the main quest that you realize, huh, interesting. Yeah, and then as for, if you complete the main quest, it's kind of what happens in the opening of the next game, Oblivion. Yeah, and the quests were mostly just on their own, just, hey, here it is, done. And one thing I would want to say is, like, the generic spawning, just the generic naming of first hags and berserkers and smugglers. It was just, it was lazy, if I'm being honest. It's complete and utter laziness. I mean, how back on Vardenfell, all the bandits, all the smugglers, necromancers, slavers, Daedra worshippers. I mean, hell, you name a different, non-faction faction, like a group of people that are almost guaranteed to fight everyone. Every single one had a unique name, an individual name, separating them from the crowd. And as for everything up on Solstheim, it just, because everything was just given a generic name and then randomly spawned in different places, it felt lazy. I mean, yeah, you don't name every single wolf. You don't name every single bear. The Rickling Raiders are just, creatures, so obviously they're not going to get named. But all the NPCs, only the ones that you actually interact with have names. Other than that, nope, nobody cares. Right, I almost forgot about Raven Rock all the way up there. I mean, I actually quite enjoyed it. It was kind of just, okay, here's what happens when a new settlement gets established. Here's the troubles they go through, the struggles that they face while they're trying to get things done. And how Carnius obviously didn't give a damn about anything. He was just trying to line his own pockets and kept trying to sabotage the whole place at every single turn. And then Falco was the only one who actually gave a damn. He was constantly being sabotaged, constantly being stabbed in the back, but he kept his cool, held his head up high, and just went, "No, you're not doing this to me." And hell, becoming factor of the estate, as well as deciding where exactly to place the estate, was, well, pretty neat. Okay, now with all that said and done and over with, I mean, hell, like, for me, my own personal headcanon is that, after donating all artifacts that, well, that the museum would actually take, because, I mean, hell, there's so many unique items and artifacts all around Lormarin. My own personal headcanon would say that, okay, the Nerevering gets a custom lock spell. Just lock 100 points on touch, and locks every single door, every single chest throughout all of Lormarin, and of course locking with magic, so that way there's no key around that can open them. And then after locking the place down like Fort Knox, retires up to the estate in Raven Rock. Then takes up drinking after all the crap he's been through and everything that he's seen. Eventually getting so completely blackout drunk that somehow, someway, he ends up in the Imperial City at a bar. And gets into a drunken brawl with a bunch of the patrons. The fight spills out onto the street. The guards come up and, well, this dark elf is so drunk no one can understand him. Everyone else has just barely started drinking, so they're only a little buzzed. So all the other patrons and the bartender all corroborate that, hey, this dark elf started a fight and is completely drunk. First thing in the morning, just completely blackout drunk. So the dark elf gets arrested, thrown into a jail cell to sober up. But it turns out that jail cell is the one that the Emperor needs in order to escape the Imperial City in the event of an emergency. And so the Oblivion Crisis begins. But, I mean, hell, that's just my own personal headcanon. And hell, yeah, it took me, like I said, it took me nearly 2 years to 100% clear this game. I'm actually going to be taking a bit of a break before starting Oblivion. I mean, hell, first-gen Pokemon has been, well, stagnant for a long time now. I mean, hell, it's the end of September 2023. I started way back in November 2021, which was just before I started uploading. And hell, with first-gen Pokemon, I need to get things moving there. Hell, part of the reason that that's taken so long is because I'm constantly recording and editing, and that takes up a lot of time. Hell, while things are rendering, I could grind some more, but I would say like 80% of the time I'm waiting for something to render, well, I'm leaving to go to work, or I'm laying my head down to go to bed. Now, for those that maybe this is the first series that you've watched on my channel, hell, fair enough, maybe it is. I do have a bit of a tradition that I started all the way back at the end of Conker's Bad Fur Day when I finished my records for that. I have a look at just how many videos I have yet to upload. At the end of Super Mario World, because that was the very first game that I completed, I didn't even consider it, because I'm just, well, that was, it was only 8 episodes long, and that was a fairly short one, and I didn't have that much of first-gen Pokemon done. Then, as I eventually recorded Conker's Bad Fur Day, I mean, well, the number ended up being 69 at the very end of that. I mean, hell, I realized my overambitiousness if that's even a term. I realized it right around then, but I'm just, I still want to complete Super Mario 64. Just to have, like, at least a third game fully complete and done before I start uploading. And then it didn't even take that long to completely get through Super Mario 64. I did get a little bit more first-gen Pokemon done, but then the number at the end of that ended up being 92. Yeah, that was when I realized, okay, I need to start uploading and getting rid of some of these, because it was starting to take up a lot of space. Yeah, then with by the time this comes out, first gen Pokemon has been long done for a very long while now. So I don't know what the numbers are at the end of that, because because at least in my timeline, I haven't actually finished it. I really need to get on it though. Yeah, but that's also why I'm gonna be taking like a break for like the next 3 months, only recording the occasional Wild Wednesday and Thoughtful Thursday, until probably around January is when I'll finally be able to start Oblivion, which where I am in uploads is still the secret 6th game. Okay, so getting the magic numbers up, let's start with the absolute easiest. There are no intermediary vlogs at all. So, don't even need to start the numbers. As for the Wild Wednesdays and Thoughtful Thursdays, I do have one of each that have yet to be uploaded. Hell, yet to even be reviewed. I've fallen behind. But that's, that definitely starts things out with two so far. Then, just keeping things easy at first. Including this bonus episode, which I would consider part of the Morrowind videos, the total is 105. So, adding 105 to that, then, hell, with, Super Mario World, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Super Mario 64, all done uploading. So, I'm not even going to count those. But, first gen Pokemon is in the process of uploading. Let's see. The Poketalks, I have a total of 19, and I've uploaded 10. Well, I'm a couple days away from the 11th being uploaded, but I'll count it as yet to upload, so yeah, that's 10 out of the 19, so that's 9 that have yet to upload. Then, let's see, the Stadium episodes, I'm actually getting pretty close to uploading the third one, but right now I only have 12, and I've uploaded 2, so that's another 10. Then, oh boy, okay, so the core games, the Let's Plays of the core games. Right now I have a total of 53, and I've uploaded 34. So some quick math, technically I've already done the math. That's 19 more to upload. And the total is 145. Holy hell. Yeah. So I have 145 videos just collecting virtual dust on my computer until I eventually get around to uploading them. Wow. Yeah, that is certainly quite a bit more, especially when you considered that I've uploaded a lot. I mean, what's 100 and... Wait, what's the number I've uploaded? No, 118. I was one off. So, that's 118 uploaded, and then 145 recorded, collecting virtual dust before they upload. Yeah, it's mainly because even though I took a couple months off, I'm still recording more than I'm uploading. But, yeah, that's it. That's the end of Morrowind, and honestly, I don't know what the hell game is coming next. You're gonna have to wait for, what would it be, Intermediary Vlog 6 to find out what else is going to happen. Yeah, and I will eventually one day in the far, far future, well, for me, I'll see you there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't hit that bell so you can always be notified whenever I upload another video. And as always, have fun.